Got the boat moored up safely in a marina here in New Zealand, but before I start work on her and my major refit, thought I'd enjoy myself, take myself out and have a couple of mini adventures. On the road again. We've left the hustle and bustle of the city and we're climbing up into the hills. I ended up at this cute little museum complex in the middle of nowhere, a train station.
No one here at all. Oh, there's some people down there.
Okay, I'm going to go back up the hill to the main centre of the museum because it's feeding time. And something special happens at feeding time, but it happens in the dark. Now that's interesting. Down by the garbage, it's one of these. Not seen it with a flat side before. I've seen huge pots like that all through my travels in the Caribbean and in the Pacific, used for different methods of processing things like sugar, boiling sugar up for rum. Just to show you how obscure we are on this channel, all of a sudden there comes a shot of a mating pair of locusts. Right, well there's a reason for this and we're coming up to that. Meanwhile, look at this stuff. I don't know about the little green fella, he's there because he looks cute. But the locusts are there to feed the animals I've come to see. Kiwis. They call New Zealanders kiwis, but it's not just them. The kiwi is actually an animal. It's a bird. But they only come out at night. And in the controlled facility of the museum, they actually have some. And I tried to film them, but we couldn't manage it. If you look carefully, you can just see the keeper in the background there, who's feeding them in the dark, trying to get them out for me to film. But no, didn't happen.
That's one of the keepers. She's putting out food for the kiwi. He's just gone off now. Well, she's there at least anyway. He's somewhere over in the dark.
I have to thank the staff there. They were really helpful, but we didn't manage to film one. So here's a stuffed one. That's the best we're going to get for this episode. Finished looking at the kiwis. I think I got the best of it. They had some locusts, and I think they went off to bed. They went in their little hutch and probably were watching TV or something, chilling out on the couch together, whatever. But I wasn't going to see any more. So I was on my way out and I thought these grounds are so great. So they got a second gate, so I came through and they found this old homesteader's place down here. It's cool. There's an old chapel here. Although not original, this is very unusual, and I believe they do services here. This is probably the smallest church I've ever been in. The museum displays included this, an entire house from the turn of the last century, preserved perfectly the way it was the day the family moved out. They've even got the original gaudy wallpaper. I like it. I remember these from when I was a kid. There's so much of England in all this. This is surreal. Even my grandparents had a fireplace a bit like this one. And a dining table like that one. This is a time capsule, frozen in time. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Not a television in sight. I had one of these. My grandmother gave it to me. This place is so well preserved. I even have to take my hat off because I feel that it is somebody's house. And it was a family called the Clarks. The whole house was actually somewhere else and it's been moved lock, stock and barrel literally to this present position in this huge museum complex that they have in Northland here in New Zealand. And it represents what happened at the time. There were a lot of English and Scottish, this family I believe is Scottish, uprooted from the old country set up life in this part of the world, which is also, when you say the New World, you think of America, but this was also a new world to the Europeans, not obviously to the locals, the Maoris. And they brought with them their culture, their way of life, their furniture, pianos, bits and pieces, bric-a-brac ornaments that they decorated their house with, as you've seen here. It's just amazing. And then as years gone by, you get to technology coming. Stuff like this, things that I actually recognize. A Bakelite telephone. Of course, not all of the immigrants that came to New Zealand back in the day ended up with houses like this. This was built in 1882 and represents the kind of thing that you would end up with if you were successful and lucky.
Next to the old blacksmith shop is the original ladies' jail.
You can imagine the kind of padlock that would have gone on there. Again, relocated from its original position. This was actually in the town centre from about 1900, I believe. It is pretty cool. This is what they used to feed them through. Woman, shut up, get in there. I'm sorry, no, I'm going to get into trouble for saying that, don't I? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be in there. But the thing was, what's not here, and they don't show you, is next to it was a 6-cell one for men. So it wasn't just the ladies. So there you go. It's a good idea though. I've had a look, there's no vintage cars here. Maybe it's a new club and they haven't got any members yet. Hey, I wonder what the Clark family, whose house we've been looking at, would think of if they saw a guy wandering around the halls of their home with yellow sunglasses on. The mind boggles. And then it was back to the marina and back to work. Back working on my boat, White Shadow, which needed a bit of tender love and care. But before I got into that, fate was about to take me away on what was to be one of the greatest adventures of my life. I can't get over just how beautiful this country is. And this is my first time out in the real countryside. Been getting a lot of people who watch the videos coming up to me, coming up to the boat, banging on the boat in the morning, saying hi in supermarkets. It's been a real blast. Awesome just to meet so many people who follow the channel. I didn't realize that I had so many followers here in New Zealand. One guy called Grant called me up and he wanted to do something for me. He said, I'm going to take you out and give you a life experience. And he turned up on the boat this morning about 7:30. I was still asleep. Anyway, bless him. There's a break in the weather and we're going to do something special because Grant has a little toy that he's going to share with me. This is a little bit apprehensive, I've got to say. This is going to be fun.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's an airstrip. Doesn't look like an airstrip, but it is an airstrip. And these are aircraft.
Hidden away in a remote part of the country is this, a man shed. One of the best man sheds I have ever seen in my life. When you look inside and see what's actually in there. My friend Grant and his friend share it with some friends, and their sport is microlighting. They have these wonderful machines in there, and I've been invited to come along, have a look, and go flying. So that's what we're gonna do. But before that, they had to check over the aircraft.
Hello, Fred. Hello.
Mind the back seat, am I?
You'll definitely be in the back seat.
Will poop wash out of this okay?
One thing I've had to say to passengers before, if they're going to vomit,
Yeah,
because they get sick, to lift the boom mic out of the way
yeah.
and then chunder over their left shoulder so they don't get the air intake.
Okay,
forward.
left. Okay, chunder over the left. Chunder, for those who don't know, is puking.
Yeah. So we've ended up with pizza on the exhaust a couple of times. Well baked. but it's not normally too bad. So we're not starting it.
That is so. I love that. I could do with that on the boat to start the engine. It's a diesel, yeah.
Yeah, imagine a pull start on your diesel. That would really get your muscle going.
It's just an aircraft with a pull start.
And magnetos. And P is for power. Right, this should take a couple of attempts.
I hope you enjoyed that super exciting episode, something slightly different for you this week. Like to thank you for being there, watching the videos. Like to thank my patrons for being absolutely brilliant and supporting this channel. Don't forget I'm on Facebook, Instagram. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you. Of course, not every immigrant to the New World. Of course, the immigrants that came across to New Zealand didn't all end up in houses, except farming, sheep. Well, you're lucky. All right, we'll put a cut in there.